So let's talk a little bit about these concepts of myth of meritocracy, ego, personality, true self. How does all of this fit together? Well, let me tell you. A little bit earlier in this self-guided coaching plan, we talked about the myth of meritocracy. This is this idea, meritocracy, that those who are in power, those who have resources and get to call the shots, get to do that because they have earned that position. This is largely left over from old organized religion ideas around predetermination and the refined authority figures of old Europe. In fact, a lot of people who are in positions of power and have been given influence more so than other people in the community have actually not earned it. Of course, there are a lot of people who have. However, there are also a lot of institutionally oppressive systems, very traditionally oppressive systems that show up in modern society and keep natural competition from happening as they do in more natural settings. So, the idea that the people at the top or the beings at the top earned what they have up there by, grit. This is reinforced by concepts of Darwinism and evolution. However, when you go into a forest or you go into an ocean, fast animals, powerful animals, animals that can get around their environment quickly and access resources most efficiently, get more resources, they have more offspring, and they push their DNA more into those ecosystems. They have more babies and they have a more dominant position. When we're talking about the amount of influence or financial resources that people have in modern society, it just does not come down to meritocracy at the end of the day. Now, when people assume it is about meritocracy, what happens is the people in those positions, in those leadership positions, which it happens to be a lot of times men, us fellas through the years tend to have these positions of power and influence much more. And the more that we're in those places, we have to show up less with our true self, with our authentic fears and insecurities and all the parts of our being to come at whatever we're taking on. And when that happens, when we can hide behind a series of defense mechanisms, essentially, to deal with the world and deal with ourselves, this develops what is called ego. I've heard that phrase, ego is not my amigo. It's a collection of defense mechanisms and automatic negative thoughts that convince us that the old way of doing things, the old obligation and expectations of tradition that we have not questioned yet critically, should be the way things happen because that's what we're bound to, even if this has nothing to do with our own being. Now, when that happens, we get wrapped up in this space of ego. It reinforces itself. And getting back to who we are as an authentic, true self requires leaving the comfort zone of our defense mechanisms and that ego state that we've gotten very familiar with and been able to hide behind sometimes, rather than lean into our authentic fears and insecurities and deal with whatever situation is coming upon us. Now, the more that we have awareness about who our true self is, what this is, how we operate, our own identity and life's purpose, this is incentive to leave our comfort zone. These are other pieces of information about ourselves that we can hold on to and keep ourselves going due north through that insecurity outside of our comfort zone.